My name is Bear Johnson. We've been attending for about a year and a half, and let me just say, as we've gotten settled in the Cary area, being a part of this church, which has such a focus and culture on prayer and community, has really been a blessing to us. And also, as James was speaking, just having church leaders who are open and vulnerable with us, what a blessing that is. So thank you for sharing that, James. You're not alone there, my brother, I can tell you that. But my evidence of grace is somewhat similar to what James was talking about, but it's finding rest and finding peace in God's steadfast love. So the past few months for our family, we've just had a range of issues that have been just consistent and ongoing. Sometimes it feels like it's been a little bit difficult to keep our heads above water at different points. Not necessarily because there's been one big thing that has happened, but just so many consistent things that keep coming up. They seem to be endless, and they're just the consistent nature of them is what has been difficult. It made me think of, I grew up in Florida surfing, so a quick little analogy here. There's this thing in surfing called getting caught inside, and that's where when the waves break, it's kind of like that foamy, choppy water where all the waves come in one after another. And one of the most dangerous places, or at least difficult spots you can be, is getting caught inside. So if you fall off a wave, or once you get done with the wave, you get out of that section as quick as possible because you know the waves are just going to consistently come. And if you're stuck there for too long, you'll get to a point where you're literally just hoping you get above water, get a breath before the next wave comes and takes you back under and puts you on a little ride under the surface. And that's what makes getting caught inside difficult. Not because there's one individual wave that takes you out, but because there's just the consistency of the waves that keep coming over. And that's really what this season has felt like, especially recently. Just the consistency has been exhausting, seemingly never ending. But this week specifically, being reminded that though our challenges have been consistent, God is constant. His love, His presence, His faithfulness, they're never ending, and they're always available. Lamentations 3:22 says, "The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases, His mercies never come to an end." And this week in our community group, little plug there, someone was speaking to just kind of the stresses that they've been going through and talking about how when Jesus was walking on water and Peter walked out to meet him, as long as he kept his focus on Jesus, he was safe. He was good. It wasn't until he took his eyes off Jesus and he focused on his circumstances that he began to sink. And so that's really hit home for me because I realized that through all of this, I've been more focused on our circumstances than being focused on Jesus. And Charlie, my wife, can attest to that. I have been emotionally sinking. Admittedly, to date, my prayers have been more of the variety of, God, please just give us some resolution, help these things to just be done with. But now I'm challenging myself to have my prayers be more focused on asking God to keep me close to Him, to be present with Him, and to stay focused on Him. So this week, my evidence of grace is God's love and just keeping my focus on Jesus and not on my circumstances.
Amen.